All right, there will be bourbon tonight, as always, fueled by America's native spirit, and I'm going deep into the archives here. I haven't had this on the podcast in a very long time. This is the look at this high quality lighting we got here. We got a little Wild Turkey Long Branch, and this, for those who don't know, so this was in partnership with Matthew McConaughey at one time. That Wild Turkey partnered with, I think, 2016, and they took their traditional bourbon and they went and finished it through charcoal process twice with oak and Texas mesquite, right? So obviously Matthew McConaughey's from Texas, and the whole charcoal finishing is something that Jack Daniels does. So it's kind of like, I guess, similar process of doing it, but and then it's named Long Branch to kind of be an extension of the hand or kind of bring people together, right? So it's a pretty cool product. It's very good. It's very tasty. Highly recommend. And yeah, so
Is,
I'm not
is
gonna
it
do.
widely available?
It is. It's actually here of all places. If you
Oh,
can,
really?
so since here in our wonderful land of ABC stores, yeah, but it's very easy to find. All Wild Turkey stuff is for the most part, except when you get into their Master's Keep, some of their higher end stuff. But yeah, very good, delicious, worth it. So tonight, obviously, also we have the author, Mark Sibley. How are you, brother?
I'm here. I'm good. It's been hectic. It's been
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Hectic and fun. Absolutely.
Fun. Well, you magnificent son of a bitch, I read your book. All right, there
Yes.
we go. And as you can see, the sequel is real. It's even right here. It says it right
It's
here.
on the back.
It's on the back. The sequel's
It's
real.
the best back cover ever.
Yeah. So I know we kind of joked about, right? This is obviously a running joke with the sequel, and then obviously people are already harassing you for the third. And I didn't really know if you were going to do a third, but once I got to about page 270, I'm like, there's a full real resolution here. This is clearly setting something up for some more. Um, so what is it? Tell me about the Dance of Devils. What do we got?
I felt bad because when I wrote Mongol Moon and I ended it with all this stuff hanging out there, and everybody was like, dude, you can't just end it with like 18 different threads like hanging out there.
Oh, yes,
And I was like, and I launched it like January 2020. So I was like, yeah, but guys, we're going to be doing this live because China just unleashed a bioweapon called COVID or something. I don't know. And I didn't write for like 6 months. And so then finally got talked back into it, got some inspiration from Airborne Heel for my airborne guys, and started getting some juices flowing and whatnot. So I didn't want to end this one with all these little hangers. I just wanted one hanger.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one.
One little brain hanger. But in the grand scheme of things, I could let that one just go on into the ether, and who knows? Most of it was wrapped up nice. But yes, I'm doing a third book. I'm writing it now.
You're writing it now.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Not the second, but
yeah. Well, that'd be good. We could get maybe a little live reading going on from the third book if you got
sure. It starts out in a Russian nuclear powered battle cruiser.
Okay.
In the Atlantic.
And that's if those who have finished the Dance of Devils is kind of making, I guess,
little tingles, make it feel tingly.
Yeah. What's the target goal on that? When are you trying to have that out?
Realistically, it's going to be next year.
Okay. Now,
but
before we start talking about it, all right. Obviously, you go to Wargate Books, who publishes it, right? You go on that website.
Oh yes.
And of course, you can go on Amazon, where I got this.
Right.
I think. Pretty sure I did. So yeah, get the book. This is the sequel to Mongol Moon, which our dear friend Terry Shepard has blessed our earlids, I guess, with his reading of the first book. And you said he's read this, or he's reading this one as well, and that'll be released.
No, it's done. It's done. It's out available for pre-order now on Amazon, Audible.
Amazon. So if you're one of those people who like to have books read to you, like you're a child, then you can have Terry Shepard do it for you. He can provide your bedtime story. But if you're not, and you want to actually hold the book and turn the pages, go, like I said, Wargate Books and Amazon. Is Deb still the Wargate Books social media?
He's still there. He still works for him. So he's doing stuff.
That is amazing. That is
so it's fun. It's fun times. I know that he doesn't. Sometimes he doesn't post like he did at the beginning on the Wargate Books website or the Twitter handle.
Yeah.
But I know that if I ask at Wargate Books on Twitter something, I know he sees it.
Just ask him right now.
Fun.
Can you see?
It's kind of fun.
Can you see this? Okay. So yeah. I know we talked about Mongol Moon the first time, and then what you actually do when you're not authoring books. And admittedly, I think I even said it that, I was like, all right, I mean, this is just one of the dudes who runs in the circle, wrote a book, let me support it all. The book was really fucking good. Like it was like the first one, it was very fucking good. I even told you, I even gave it to my daughter, and we sent you that video back in December on her.
Yeah, you did.
When I was that was great. And so this one, a lot of expectations, right? Because you set the bar pretty high.
Dude, I was sweating bullets. I really was. I really was.
Did you go back and like change a lot, or did you just kind of how do you write? Do you just are you constantly refining and editing, or do you bang out your idea and just move on?
So if it's what I normally do, I like to get up early during the week, get to the coffee shop, and for the first hour or two, just write. Seat of my pants. I don't plot anything. I don't outline. The cool thing with these, and because there's multiple points of view, I don't have to keep writing the same character every day.
Yeah.
And I can start a new chapter if I'm not feeling finishing that chapter. I can go and start another chapter where I know I need to go with that character, right? And then I come back and then I weave them together. But yeah, so I normally do that, and then usually on Saturdays, the whole morning on Saturdays, I'll sit there and kind of go back through what I wrote during the week and fix it, because it sucks. Because I don't plot anything and I don't outline. so that's kind of what I do. If it's normal. I mean, and how often are things freaking normal? Obviously tomorrow morning I'm not going to be up at the coffee shop but early writing. Yeah,
and you generous enough to bring myself and a few others into your world up there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how you write, but that is a lively establishment. So do you ear pop it? But okay, but either way, you're listening to something, right? Like
I got the headphones in. I got Metallica going, or Five Finger Death Punch
when they were good, right?
Right, exactly. Or Enya or Taylor.
Oh, there you go.
Tay-Tay.
I know. Now I didn't want to jump right to it because it's one of the things I have on here, but I'm glad you brought because, dude, when are you gonna just tweet out the playlist? Like, it's a great playlist. Like every time I would be reading and
I'm waiting for somebody else to tweet out the playlist.
Well, I don't want to go back and count all the songs, but
I don't want to go back and count the songs. I didn't write them down.
You had it organized. Or did a song just pop in your head and you would put it in the book?
That's exactly what I did. Every once in a while, I was like, let me go through the playlist, because I use songs that I listened to while I wrote, right? And I got to specifically during, the armor scenes, right? And I would just keep going back to my iPod, what am I, 80 years old? Back to my playlist on iTunes, and I'd be like, okay, what is it? I'm thinking of something here. What matches that? Because I've listened to all of them while I write, right? But what matches that? And I would find stuff, and then I changed a couple. I don't remember which ones, but I don't know if I regret it or not changing them, because at the time I was like, no, I'm going to change that song. I might regret it. I might not. I don't know. I mean, it was just a crapshoot, man. It was a crapshoot.
Honestly, my favorite was Cherry Pie.
You like that?
I was like, because you do mention, I can't remember which character it was that they're gone and they hook up their phone or whatever, and that's where they pull. He's like, man, this guy's got an incredible playlist.
I know, right? Pretty eclectic.
yeah. But no, I'm going to do that. I will do that tomorrow. I'm going to upload this, and then I'm going to tweet out the playlist, because it's a great playlist, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use that playlist, and I'm going to work out to it. It's going to be fantastic.
I've just been waiting for somebody to do the playlist.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Since no No one's clearly harassing you about it, and I'm doing it here.
One other person mentioned the playlist. Everybody else was either like Dolio was yelling at me because the Marines don't sing along to Taylor Swift. Fuck you. Of course they do. Have you seen some of the videos of Marines on the what we call the internet?
There's some videos that will never die.
Right. No, I know.
Yes.
One in particular that I can't get out of my head at the moment.
Yeah. But I do find that is one of the hilarious things, because you talk about the tank battles. Obviously, that's going on in there. But the fact that throughout all this chaotic shit that's going on, multiple battle scenes, there's this fucking tank that's just blasting out fucking music, right? Like total psyop, but not, because that would have been funny if maybe you mentioned like I guess from the perspective of the Russian paratroopers, like, what the fuck are they listening to while we're fighting? Right. But something like that, because it cracks me up because I envision myself as the way you write it is very easy to kind of put yourself in that. And I'm just like, if there was some tank rolling around near me anywhere, just blasting these fucking songs, it's fucking funny. Like, it's funny.
Right.
Great. I think it's great. Was that something you came up with it, or was that some of your like pickle influence, or where'd that come from?
Oh no. I mean, I did go back to our Cav Major, Afghanistan, and ask him. I was like, look, how would you do this? And blah, 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 and do this. And he was like, dude, people do it all the time. Dude took up music tanks. We listened to the shit in our Comnet, right?
Yeah, it is crazy how they
do all that kind of shit, right? But I got the idea, obviously, from Kelly's Heroes, right? And Oddball and their tank with the big speakers. I had to work it out for like a couple of weeks where I was getting the speakers, how I was hooking them up, make it plausible. Do this, do that. Don't give too much detail, because I don't know what the electrical system of an M1 looks like. Or just tape it down, plug shit in, do some stuff, right? These are tankers; they can get it done.
Yeah,
they got time, and they're bored.
And it is cool because I want to say when I was in Iraq in 2003, I remember this was when Third ID was leaving, and they had a striker that was just hanging out, and it was like people like myself and others who never really seen these vehicles before or rode in them, and they're just letting people go there and take their fucking cool pictures with them and shit. But they had music playing throughout it, and I thought it was cool. I was like, wait, you guys got fucking music in there? And he's like, yeah, and you play through the headphones and all this shit. I'm like, what? Because all I drove was Humvees or deuce and a halves or 5 tons, and we don't have any of that shit in there, right? It's just it was literally us with like a handheld radio, portable radio with batteries playing music in our shit. But these fuckers, they got all the tech. There's no tech in a Humvee or a deuce and a half or a 5 ton, right? It's just a truck. You just drive it. The only thing I ever thought was cool about a Humvee was that you could start it with glow plugs, right? Like there's no turnkey. It's just, I was like, okay.
Push the button.
Yeah, push the fucking button. When it lights up, you're good. Let's go.
Let's go.
Which I thought was really cool. And I guess maybe that's kind of what's led to push button technology now in current vehicles, because I always feel like we pull from the military side of
DARPA, man. DARPA developed everything from the push button on the Humvee.
Yeah. So no, I do that. That's why I think that is really cool. And for people who probably don't know too much about the military or don't have a military background and are reading the book, I think they'll get a kick out of that, because they're gonna be like, what, how insane is this that the fucking playlist is playing and you come back to it and it's not like, it doesn't feel unauthentic, right? Like it's an organic flowing of, hey, cherry pie's on, or jump around. When jump around comes on, that's fucking funny, because I'm like, you're gonna be fucking kidding me. But if you would have gone into the crates with House of Pain and went boom shakalaka boom, everybody. Now maybe for the third book you can throw that in, but I'm just saying.
I don't know if I can keep doing it. I don't know how much long. I mean, I got to take things away.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that this fucking tank's still going.
Right.
The tank's had some time. It's had some rough days.
I mean, they went 12-1. It's like the dude in Red Dawn. It was 5-1. I got 4. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what was going on in my head. I was like, how are we gonna do this? And I had Pickle and I had Afghanistan read it, and they were like, that would be a horrific day for me.
Yeah.
That would be stressful.
Yeah.
I would not want to do that, but I know why they did it,
Yeah.
and damn.
Well, Stewie's hating life. You know, he's in there just fucking loaded.
He's in there just going, oh my God, we're gonna die. We're all gonna die.
He's
All I
always
kept
young.
thinking about was the freaking meme from Twitter. You're gonna die. Right?
It's yeah, it's really good. Like once, because actually, you know what? Let me, because I had my list in kind of the order of when, because you know the book, obviously you're developing the story before you know shit hits the fan, and I kind of
Yeah.
look, this is gonna obviously ruin it for somebody who haven't read it, and that's your fault, right? I waited specifically until I had finished the book to invite you on. So
because it's all about you. Let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Right. It's There Will Be Bourbon, hosted by Eric, right?
Right.
Nobody else. And you don't have to listen to this.
Right.
People don't.
Turn it off.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 people do not listen to it. The rest always on, but we should tell them to turn it off.
Yeah.
There could be spoilers.
But so, well, no, okay. I'll kind of go into sequence because I was hitting notes up as I was coming into different things. But
I'll bounce around too.
Yeah, and then I'll go back to some of the stuff because there are things that go on that obviously I want your actual take on because it's not just this dude who talks about his books. Like you're a smart dude, you got a lot of experience and a lot of thoughts on a lot of shit that I think is really good.
I have thoughts and I have experience.
Yes, and that's
I'm not altogether that smart.
we've
we've literally hung out, dude.
That's right. A few times. Smart enough.
Yeah. Okay. Smart enough not to die.
So what I thought is kind of funny, and I get it, you know, big ass EMP and all this shit, but there's stuff that survived. And
yes.
I did think, I know you mentioned it, but I kind of thought it was funny that like there's no social media. Like it would have been funny just like, is Twitter still running somewhere? Like is there some shit going down? Like, is Elon somewhere still? Because I also know you talk about Afghanistan in there, and you wrote it before we had the withdrawal, and you didn't want to take it. Right. But no, I was like, I remember reading it, and I was just thinking, like, I wonder what the social media, how would this scenario, because there's always something that like survives, right? Or something's protected.
Right.
Old tech, right? You go back to old tech. Maybe someone's got a fucking flip phone that for whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't work. Or,
oh, dude, keep going. I got a segue. Go.
Yeah, or someone's got their computer hooked up in a fucking concrete wall basement from the 40s, right? Where there's a literal bomb shelters that were built underground because they actually had this threat just from a nuclear angle.
Right.
So I just wondered, like, someone's got to be on Twitter right now. Like, what the fuck's going on? Is anyone out there? What?
Like to a blank HP's out there to a blank screen going,
yeah, right.
Now, this is not my Wi-Fi. Yeah, this isn't a trigger.
Actually,
what's wrong with all this shit?
I bet his grill survived because it
could be.
It doesn't work anyway. So. But yeah, all right, segue. So yeah, so social media is not in the book. I think it's funny if it was, but you know.
Yeah, no, I mentioned Twitter. I love like
you mentioned
the one guy in the tanks. Like, I miss Twitter, and that's how the whole stories from Twitter come about, and blah blah blah, and everything else, and some of the characters that we see. But yeah, so I've got actually not me. I mean, it's my world, but Wargate. I was doing 4 or 5 short stories that I was going to release that are standalone, but link in and tell a backstory to something that happens in the 3rd book. So I'm working the 3rd book, but I'm also working these 3, 4, or 5 short stories, right? Because I want readers to get a sense of what else is. I want to expand the Mongol Moon world that I destroyed or didn't, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people ask, like, what's going on here? What's going on there? I was like, I don't know. I didn't think about that. It's not in the books. So I don't think about what's not in the books. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't.
Right.
So I talked to Wargate and Wargate Corporate and told him that I was doing these. He's like, well, what about an anthology? Right. And I was like, cool. Who do we get? He's like, everyone. So we got like 24 freaking authors signed up now and a lot of them, from our corner of Twitter. It turned into me doing short stories to link into the book because I thought it would be a cool thing to do, right, for readers, to showcasing all the cool readers we have in our corner of Twitter, right? So, Joel Gaines, Dolio,
which I feel you kind of alert, or well, you throw out a little nod to him. You say chaos terrain. The train is chaotic or something. He's in the book.
Well, in the Marine Corps general from Lejeune,
Yeah.
Joel Kobayashi, with his fucking blueberry pie. Joel wanted me to put blueberry pie in there, so I put blueberry pie in there.
Awesome.
It's done. And there's a couple other things, right? So Joel and I have this backdoor thing. We're not that.
You said I was moving on.
I know, right? I knew you were going to say something eventually. No, Joel and I go back and forth trying to figure out how, because he dug at me in his chaos terrain. So I'm kind of digging at him here. And I think I'm going to continue to dig at him in the third one. Because he's still alive, his Kobayashi.
Yeah.
Which I had a lot of fun with, right? So, there's references to Red Dawn, a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I don't just make the reference, I make it like what I would do with a bunch of dudes that are drunk in a car, right? I make it like that. And I wanted that general to just be so chain smoking.
What would you do with a bunch of dudes drunk in a car? That's another.
There's a lot of things.
This time I'm saying
I can't even remember, man.
Go ahead. All right, but yeah.
So no, there's a lot of things, and some people have hit me up. He's like, "Where are all the Easter eggs?" I was like, "Dude, there's so many in there. I forgot them. I didn't write them down. Yeah, I didn't keep track of this shit. I'm fire and forget. I'm moving forward. You're the readers. You do it,
right?"
I don't know the playlist.
That's why I'm going to do the playlist. That's right. I'm going to do the playlist. It's going to be great.
Do the playlist. I've been waiting for somebody to do the playlist.
I'm going to tweet out the playlist. I may just tweet all the videos that go along with it, one at a time. See if maybe people will pick up on it. Like every hour, I'll do a song and see if put it together with the video.
Dude, what got me to do the Kelly's Heroes thing with the tank and the music was I just had this vision in my head of Marines in a tank singing that Taylor Swift song, "We're Never Getting Back Together," and
never ever.
Everybody throws their hands up because that's what you do in the concert and then in the video and everything else.
Well, yeah, because you got Miley Cyrus in there. Like if I would put my hands up, play.
There's that too. Oh my god,
that's in there too. Yeah, it's
right.
Party in the USA.
I had to put "Party in the USA" in. Because that's the Purge song, dude. That's what we're playing. That's what we're playing when the lights go out.
Yeah, that's great.
That's fun time song.
So another thing you got in here, I do like how you threw in Claude's Barbecue. Mm-hmm. That's good. That's something I feel like we should probably get rid of because let's go to current events, right? We're airdropping MREs and the people of
and smacking people in the head with them. I don't know.
They're not happy,
what
right?
The fuck?
We used to have the little Tabasco sauces in there. We need to get Claude a contract so he can get Claude's barbecue sauce.
No doubt, dude. No doubt.
That would be awesome.
Oh my god. but that whole scene, I mean, I was looking for things to write because these guys were going to be in the air for a long time, right?
Yeah, flying from Bagram, honestly, that's impressive. They made it.
Right. I know.
Yeah,
that's what my books are about. Yeah. Regular dudes doing really extraordinary things and beating the odds. Not everybody's a Navy SEAL. You can't do it alone, Jack Carr.
Yeah.
Call me.
Yeah, which actually leads into the next thing I had. You had them salute in the plane, and I wanted to kind of take you to task over that. I'm just gonna nitpick.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not saluting in the plane. It's cover.
No, I get it. What was the context of the salute, though?
He was meeting an officer for the first time.
And was the officer pissed off?
Yeah.
Yeah, the officer was pissed off, and there was.
But the only way he was saluted indoors is if she called him to and he's reporting.
Damn it!
Just meeting her.
Okay.
Look, I'm just being a dick. I just wrote it down. So
he was nervous. He was fucking nervous.
He's First Sergeant Sully. He's not nervous. He's fine. He's good. He's good to go.
He is First Sergeant Sully.
He is First Sergeant Sully, which is it's me, right? But I'm not
right.
Sully, yeah, but I have that position. Yeah. No, that's great. No, I love that. That's a pretty cool because I've spent a lot of time flying all over the Mideast, Afghanistan specifically, in those Yeah, well, you're in a C5. I never flew in a C5. It was always C17s or C130, but mostly C17s in that scenario where it's just, nothing's in it. It's just a massive fucking
Yeah.
cargo bay, right? And you don't realize when you're on until you're back on a civilian plane how much is covered, right? Like your roof and your baggage areas and all
Right.
covered. Whereas on like the military version of it, it's like it's just all fucking open. We got vehicles in there, we got pallets of everything, we got all kinds of shit. And then you got soldiers trying to pee in the corner behind a curtain, right? Or if you're fortunate, you get to go upstairs to the nice bathroom, which he tried, unsuccessful. And I imagine in the C5, there's probably even more of that shit up there. But yeah, I never got to be on one of those. So yeah, no, I thought that was cool. That's a really cool scene. That's where we see Demps for the first. Well, I don't know if that's
No. You see Demp on the side of the mountain. He's driving the Humvee.
That's right in the Humvee, yeah. But
Sanchez is in the back.
Things like he's smiling on the fuck when the shit's.
Right.
You did a great job though on the airborne shit with the red light and then the green light and all.
That was all Airborne Heel.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm going to do a lot of research on this, and I did it. Right.
Yeah.
The only person that called me out on anything, god damn it, was fucking Shepard.
Really?
No, he called me. This is the hour-long phone call where he's calling me, yelling at me about hating me because he had to do all the accents. Right. And like an Iranian, a Scottish, and a Russian all in one scene. He was like, I hate you so much. Right. You can picture that.
Yeah, now I have to. Now I gotta
but then he was like, look, you got the guys jumping with their cases, their guns and cases, right? And he's like, I don't know if that would happen. I've jumped with and without, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, blah, blah. I don't know. He's like, no, but it doesn't detract. I was like, then okay.
It's a good point because I bring it up only because, when I went through airborne school many moons ago, I do remember the first thing I thought was, okay, yeah, the red light's on, the green light goes on, it's supposed to be a 10-minute warning, but this is a training scenario, right? So the 10-minute warning is really a 2-minute warning. It's like, all right, everybody stand up, we're going. I'm like, wait a minute. First jump ever, I was just like, I thought it was 10 minutes, but it's right, it's training. But when you're actually
you're going.
you're like, for real, the green light means 10 minutes, right? That's when it goes on. But you nailed it from a per the regulation and by the book. This is every step and how it would go. Now, Terry's probably got a point. If it's a combat jump, it's the end of the fucking world, most likely. Maybe I don't bring the bag, right? Maybe I don't strap that up because it's annoying. I got to get down and take my fucking weapon out. But also, it's done for a reason because you don't want to lose your weapon while you're in the air, right? So,
like Captain Winters and Band of Brothers. God damn it.
And that's like also that was a really great scene because of what takes place after. And again, I don't care if I give away things at this point, but when the pilots make that decision, like, because you kind of allude that one probably got hit in the leg and they're gonna die anyway, they're gonna bleed out, but they realize, hey, there's no win here, and the only way to get to that third target is for them to do it themselves, which I thought was really cool. It's a really cool fucking scene. And I said this to you, I think probably about the first book. Your books translate perfectly if it was a movie. Like that's how they read, right? It's not like, well, here's the book. Now let's take this and turn this into a script. Now we get it. Scripts are going to be heavily edited or whatever. But these play out visually, very visually. Well, I think they're very done really well visually. And you can kind of see how fucked up that scene would be for the reality of the situation. Like, we're not making it anyway. Let's make this worth it, right?
And I thought about that one for a couple of weeks. This is how I write. When I get to one of these spots, right, where I got to figure what to do with this out, I take a couple of weeks. I don't just sit down and hammer it out and whatever. I'll just wait. Like, I've waited on doing one of these short stories for months now because I'm just thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And it just hit me. That meme or that video on Twitter about the alligator and the dog, or the two dogs, one's in the river and one's on the bank, and dude's like, hey, what's your name? Terry. Fuck you, Terry. Right? Dude, some of these things are just complete awesome buy-ins, right? So this short story is just the battle of a place, right? And a bunch of forces congregate there, and all of a sudden, between a bunch of different happenstance things, there's only like a few people left. It's pretty remote.
Yeah.
They're all different countries, but they all know English. Kind of.
That's nice that you didn't write in like different languages. That's good. I appreciate it.
No. But I'm going to have Terry narrate in different languages, so he's going to have to get on his.
Oh, he's good. He's
his Rosetta Stone.
He learned languages. He'll be fine. He's smart.
He's fine.
He's smart.
No, but yeah. So I have to stew on these things for a little bit, and the one thing that I just couldn't get around, so I just didn't write it, was the crew.
The crew.
I mean, I got the pilots on the C5.
Yeah, okay, I got you. Yeah.
But I couldn't, there wasn't really anything I could do with the crew. They were going in. I thought about writing about the crew chief, the Italian guy, the stewardess.
Yeah.
Knowing what was happening with the back door down and everything, and jumping into the Potomac River. You're doing 300 knots, man.
Yeah,
you're dying one way or the other. So I was like, fuck it.
That's true. No, and honestly, until you mentioned that, I kind of did forget about him and in that situation, because that doesn't, you make a good point, because you had the doors on the sides for them to go out of, but you also opened that rear back. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shitty way to go, but it was a good way to go.
I mean, I sent those pages several times to Airborne Heel, and every single time he was like, "Oh my God, I now have to go take a shit." Because I mean, you nailed what needed to be nailed, and you freaked me the fuck out. I'm never going up again. And he wasn't chasing jumps. He was just I'm doing my jumps and I'm good.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, that shit was on point. So, and you can literally thank Airborne Heel for me getting started, and him lighting the fire under my ass to write the sequel.
Yeah,
literally thank him.
The bridge scenes were great. Like all that came after that. Once you crash into they land, and they got to figure out how to do the two bridges.
Captain taking a shit.
Yeah, I do love how you killed 4 SEALs just randomly sitting in a truck. Like,
had to do it. Had to be done. Hey, at least they weren't Green Berets.
I know. Well, I know, because then you wouldn't. Terry would just not read your book. He'd just be like,
right.
No, not doing
he almost didn't read it because of the eggnog hate. I was like, you know what? I wrote that in the hope in my head that I could use it at some point with Terry.
Well,
and then it all worked out. He has to read it.
When I was reading that section where you said that they were SEALs and all 4 were sitting in the truck, I was thinking to my head, he's got to have a part in here where someone's like, yeah, I'm just taking notes down for the book I'm going to write, because that's what SEALs do.
I didn't want it to be too on the nose. I didn't want to actually name them, Rob, Jack, blah, blah.
Yeah. Hey, gee, I read your book. So just something.
It was too on the nose, just like Depp being Depp, but not a medic.
Yeah, well, he's also Depp, but he's not really being like he's not full on, Wargate book social media user / full on Dempsey on Twitter. He's actually really well behaved. But that brings me to the point where he throws the Black Rifle coffee into the.
that I had to go back and write in on one of the rewrites, because I kept forgetting to do it, and I wanted to get past scenes, and I forgot to do it, and I was like, oh, I gotta get that in. So I went back and did it. So
that was good. That cracked, because as it never seems to end, there's currently a whole other coffee war going on.
No, and I think I might have helped start that one the other day. I don't know. Some lead singer for some metal band blocked me. I don't know.
Really? What band?
No, Phil That Remains from All That Remains.
I don't know if I know them. Do I know them?
I don't know. All That Remains is the band. Phil is their lead singer, and he's a big second A, 2A guy.
Oh, and he blocked you, huh? That's funny.
Well, because he called Italian Short King a fucking idiot for responding to one of his posts about Black Rifle. And of course, Phil That Remains, apparently he's been friends with the Black Rifle guys for a decade. So
whoopsie.
sure. So
okay.
Italian Short King got blocked by him, and I was like, dude, man, this is not the way.
That's the guy that's blocking everyone. I had no idea. Okay, now I missed because I was reading the book actually during that. So.
Well, you didn't miss out. You got the better end of the deal. And I was all like, dude, what are you doing? That's like, I mean, he's like, super don't care, dude. It's Twitter. I was like, okay, have fun with Evan. And then block. And I was like, dude, come on, man. Grow up.
It kind of is what it is.
We're all on the same side. Just stop throwing grenades in other people's shorts. Fucker. I do want a grenade though at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you got some grenades in the book. Let's do it.
I got some bloops, man. Bloop.
Yeah, bloop, bloop,
bloop. I gotta get one of those too. I gotta get me one of those. It's gonna be great in the after times.
A little tube.
Oh yeah.
A little attachment. Yeah.
Or an M79. Either way, I'll take either.
Yeah, I feel like you could probably just. Yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna say that one out loud. I'll tell you later.
Okay, tell me later.
But it comes back to the whole tanks thing, right? Like, because Alice is having a rough time. I don't know if Alice is.
She's tore up.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of Chinese T-99 armor going on right now. That's hanging out. Well, someone took one of the tanks, right? Well, actually, no. It was that the Chinese took an Abrams and they killed Voodoo.
Oh yeah. Which
I thought it was funny that you made Voodoo an A-10 pilot, and every time I read those scenes, I'm like, it's Dale. That's Dale Stark. Come on, that's
because Dale's the man, and I'm on the phone with Dale. Can I do this? Does this sound good? Here, read this chapter. And he's like, no, nailed it, man. That nailed it. When you turn down the Shenandoah River. And it's like the Star Wars in the trench. He's like, that totally nails it. That's what we did.
That's very visual. I like how he killed the fucking 6 helicopters and made himself an ace.
Right? I thought I was just like, how does an A-10 make himself an ace killing tanks? He doesn't.
Yeah,
maybe. Right. And then, did you get the irony at the end?
Of
the tank kills the A-10.
Oh yeah. Which is the A-10 is the tank killer. But
come on, man.
Yeah, no, I got it.
The whole book's surrounded by that. That was what I wanted to get across. That bit of irony for the human race.
I think the irony was like, this is what happens when you put your seatbelt on. You don't get out fast enough.
Right?
No.
I mean, shit happens. Sometimes shit snags.
Where's your seatbelt cutter, Mr. Voodoo? What's going on?
Yeah. And I made him Air Force, which to this day he hates me for.
And he shot a 1911 out of a tank. Good job.
He really did.
Which we also know he didn't hit with. He didn't hit him. He didn't hit.
No, he probably didn't hit anything. And if it was hollow points, I mean, it's just bouncing. Whatever.
It just cracks me up. Like, man, the 1911 takes so much heat these days. It's pretty funny. Like,
I have one.
And pretty much everyone I know in person has one. I don't. Yeah. My brother's got one. He loves it. I'm like, can you hit anything with it? It's like, yeah, hit it all the time. I'm like, oh, well, you say so.
I mean, you can hit it, but is it going to do anything? I don't know. Two world wars and all. I mean, it's all great. But see, I carried a 1911 for a long time, right? And it was great. Springfield 1911. It was compact. I put maybe 5,000-6,000 rounds through it at the range. It was great. And then I was like, this thing's freaking heavy. Right. So
very big, especially if you have compacts now. Like,
exactly. So I went out and became a Beretta stan, and I have two Berettas now. Right. And the APX is what I carry. And it's amazing, and it's light, and I have like 400 rounds on me right now. It's great. I mean, it takes so many rounds in the mag. But I sold that 1911 to a dude, and then turned around, and I was like, okay, I'm done with 1911s. And then Rob Province Floof put his up because he was trying to he was selling some guns a couple of years ago to try and get money for his
Oh, he's got enough of them. So
I know. So I got his Yugoslavian AK, and I got his 1911. I was like, that is a sweet 1911. I cannot get rid of him. But it is an awesome gun. It is, I swear to God, I will, in the after times, I'll have my kit situated, but I'm going to have that 1911 in a shoulder holster right here or cross chest. It's just going to be great, man. It's going to be great. It's going to put the fear of God in people. Oh shit, don't fuck with him. This is World War III, and that motherfucker's been through 2 already. God damn it.
I'm surprised you like the Beretta so much, because it wasn't very popular in the Army. My commander he loves that thing for some reason. But I finally got to hold the new what we replaced the M9 with, the M17. Have you seen that at all?
No.
Well, that's what the Army replaced the M9 with, right? The Beretta, they replaced it with this M17. I'm trying to think.
Oh, the M9,
M7.
the M9 Beretta.
Yeah, it's a 6 Hours who makes the M17, right? So that's our
okay. Yeah, I don't pay attention to anything sick.
There it is, right there.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah, so I get to mess around with that thing next month. I haven't shot it yet, so
you have one?
No, I'm about to go shoot it next month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
But yeah, see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so obviously there's going to be some more tank shit going down. So hopefully maybe they figure, because you also you're very descriptive with the weapons, and it's not that you're just, again, I know who you're writing for, so I'm not going to try and be like, oh, I get all that. You're very descriptive in how the things are written, but from that perspective, from the T99, like, where do you do research to get all of those specs, and how do you come up with that? Or did you consult with some of our tank fellas to see what they have?
So I have an unhealthy fascination with main battle tanks, and always have. Let's just leave it at that.
So that explains why the tank is at the core of both of these books.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Anything M. Abrams related, I'll just throw over to Afghanistan and say, hey, does this make sense? And he and Pickle were pretty invaluable to this. They sorted me on a bunch of stuff, right? The T99, I went and just, my Google foo is very strong. My Google foo is extremely powerful.
Okay.
And
it's pretty impressive.
I mean, it's a 3-man crew. It's an autoloader. It's not a T-72.
Significantly
just
lighter.
Fucking pop off if you hit it lightly, like a Pinto, right? But they're pretty capable tanks. But no tank is insurmountable. So I like to use a lot of them. The Chinese communists like to use a lot of tanks, but these are probably getting better than just the mass-produced T-72s, T-80s, whatever, that are blown up by the minute in Ukraine. And now, by the way, I see that our Bradleys are doing pretty well in Ukraine now. So with their 25, just tagging that shit.
And would you think that would happen if anyone's read the book or seen the movie Pentagon Wars?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've never seen that?
No.
What?
Pentagon Wars?
Pentagon Wars, yeah. It's Kelsey Grammer, Carly Hughes. He plays the actual Air Force colonel who gets charged with this program of fixing the Bradley. It was an HBO movie. Like, it was a legit movie.
Really?
Kelsey Grammer played the general who's like constantly trying to pigeonhole everything and prove why they
really.
Oh, you've got to see this. I want to say it was 90s, but you could find it, and I'm gonna make a note so I make sure I.
Nope, Pentagon Wars. Kelsey Grammer. All you got to say is Kelsey Grammer. I'll find it.
Oh, it's fucking.
I watch anything Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, it's so good. He's incredible in it. But Carrie Hughes, you know, Hot Shots, all that. That dude, he's great.
Yes.
But no,
Princess Bride.
You can you can go back and actually Google his Washington Post report on what they made this movie about, and he wrote a book off it too. And this was when the Washington Post was doing like long form expose type shits, and like I mean, it's got to be a 30,000 word fucking.
Damn.
Yeah, like it's incredible. It's from 1986 when he went and appeared in front of like Congress and did testimony on this. But it's all about the Bradley and the evolution of what it was supposed to be and how it took like 15 fucking years because everyone's like, what if we put a gun on it? What if we put portholes? What if we did that? What if we like it started from it was supposed to be an APC, right? You talk about APCs all the time, an armored personnel carrier. And then you got this colonel who's actually in charge of the program. He's like, it's an armored personnel carrier. It's not a fucking tank. It's like, well, what if it was a tank? And he's like, oh my, but it's hilarious because it just shows.
It's a tank if you put toes on it.
Yes. And it just shows the absurdity of the evolution of how every general wanted to have their little piece of input on this specific and how the Bradley literally took this evolution of a 12 to 15 year period and how much it cost. And Kelsey Grammer's character goes in front of to talk about how much it costs, and he's like, and you gotta remember this is the 80s. He's like, I don't know, 35, and they're like 35 million. He's like, billion. They're like, did you say billion? He's like, billion. It's insane. It's insane what the Bradley, how it started to what it is today and how it's still actually in production. And yeah, it actually does pretty cool shit. But yeah, go watch Pentagon Wars. I talk about this movie all the time. It's great.
Okay, amazing.
Absolutely great. Great.
I'll do that.
Hilarious.
I'll do that. I had no idea that existed. I'm stoked now.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Maybe you'll read it and it'll influence you for just because you got some generals in that book. And well, you got President Madison. That's nice.
James Madison, baby. James Madison. And by the way, you can't see it, but it's JMU right here, James Madison University.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh yeah, I wear it all the time. Either the hat, the shirt, the underwear.
Football team this year.
They're killing it, and I don't even care about college sports.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, how does James Madison get like a good football team? It's just
because we're in Virginia.
It's just a bunch of normal people, right? Like, it's just a bunch of normal dudes playing. It's weird.
Doing extraordinary things.
Yeah, well, that's why I always get cracked up. Like, Army doesn't really get the crazy wins sometimes that Navy does, but Army's fairly competitive with Navy because they play the same style. But
you think?
It just cracks me up. Or even Air Force. Like, Air Force, not so much today, but, 10 years ago. So, like, these teams are nowhere near competitive from an athletic standpoint, but they'll beat some of like really good college football teams because they just do what they do really well. And how do you stop that? It's just funny. but yeah, because I'm just like, and you can only really pull that off in football. You can't pull that shit off in baseball or basketball, right? You're good or you're not, right? But football, you can still, because it's such a large team sport, you can kind of coordinate some shit.
Any given Sunday, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Or Saturday.
Saturday. I don't watch college sports.
No. You don't watch college sports? Okay.
No, unless one of my kids is rowing, and then I just cheer for them.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I meant to look it up. Did you ever? Well, maybe you probably haven't, because I also think it may have been an HBO movie, but it was definitely around the same time period. I think I want to say in the 90s, where, because this is what it kind of like. The only reason I bring this up is because I was thinking from a different angle. You know who Kevin Pollock, that actor, is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love it.
So he's in a movie where he's the president. Have you ever seen that movie? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that's so familiar, but I don't.
Okay, so he's the president, and it kind of ends up in a nuclear war. But all of the nuclear weapons that get launched at the United States end up being duds because he sold those nuclear weapons to these countries, France, all these countries that were usually our allies. He sold them to them under the, like, he knew that at some point they would try and use them against them. So he sold them, so basically we gave them shitty weapons knowing that they would try and use them against us. And when they did, they didn't function. But ours did, and fucking blew everything up. But Kevin Pollock's the president in that movie, and I meant to go look it up to find out, because I've only seen it twice, and I haven't seen it in probably 25 years. But
holy shit, well, that's old.
Yeah. It's actually a really cool movie. Like, I just kind of summed up the plot very quickly, but yeah, that's like the ending. He's like, and we knew you would do this. And that's why we sold you functional or faulty fucking nuclear weapons, and you would use them against us and they wouldn't work.
Yeah, Kevin Pollock, he's second counsel in A Few Good Men.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you could, man, that's a really good movie. I was just talking with some friends last month about that because it came on late at night and I just fell asleep to it.
Deterrence.
Is that the movie?
Deterrence, 1999.
There you go. All right, let me write that down as well because I need to
Well,
watch that.
looks like I'm watching something after
Yeah, you
this.
got Deterrence, you got fucking Pentagon Wars, you got all kinds.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah, these, and I'm telling you, this
I'm
is
not writing shit.
Yeah, but it may end up giving you some sort of inspiration. I don't know, maybe for your fourth book. But
dude, I get so much inspiration from movies and TV shows and Twitter and everything else because it all reflects real life. It may not be real life, but it reflects it.
Yeah,
right. It totally reflects it.
One of the other things I noticed, and this is kind of coming from the perspective of the Chinese. I think most of the battle scenes are with the Chinese, but they have a very similar command and control structure or communication style to us. So I thought, is that intentional, or did you research that to kind of see, like, do they do they kind of mimic our tactics when it comes to communication, or?
I don't think so. What I did was in my day-to-day life, I herd cats and I manage.
Yeah, no, I know you've got experience. Talk about
and I feel like it's the same way that I dealt with. I've never been in an M1 Abrams. I've never been in a tank. I don't know what that's like under fire. I've watched Fury 100 times, right?
Yeah,
I've watched Kelly's Heroes, right? It's freaking stressful, right? And it's like being in a frat party with dudes in a monster while the monster's being shot at by other monsters. What are frat dudes going to do? What are they going to say? Are they going to go to their training? Are they going to keep it just at those training commands that they trained on? Or are they going to throw in some F-bombs? Are they going to kill that motherfucker? Are they going to, whatever? Are they going to fart? Are they going to shit themselves? Is Stewie going to go, oh my God, we're all going to fucking die.
We're going to die. Yes.
We're going to fucking die. Right. So I forgot your question.
What I said, you had the style of the communications that the Chinese. Very similar SOP.
Dude, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So
that's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I learned when I trained in martial arts in Bondo, and my instructor was like, look, nobody has a monopoly on the sunshine. Everybody's got a way to get the information, and there's good ways of going about it and there's not so good ways of going about it. I just figure I don't speak Mandarin, so I just use the same tonality and kind of talking that our guys would do that they would do, right? It's just guys in a tank. That's the base denominator, right? Yep. Guys in a tank. Commander got a column of tanks and APCs. They're doing their thing. How different could it be? Literally, how different could it be?
Sure, it's a good point.
Right? I don't know that it could be that different. You're using the same equipment, the same type of equipment, doing the same types of things. You have to have the same types of commands and other stuff.
That's a good point.
So I took a leap.
A leap of faith. Yep. A leap of Chinese faith.
We won't know if I'm right or not until the Chinese execute Mongol Moon and they come over and they meet me as their new sensei.
Yeah, it's like, we're here for Mark Sibley, who basically wrote our entire op order. Yes, we are executing. Now, I did talk to somebody about this, but can I just verify? Are you drinking Pino Noir? Got La Crema. It is Pinot Noir, of course. Yep.
It is.
Yep. You do. You did tell me you like La Crema, and we actually had some at that one place.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I think we had all of it at that one place.
We may have had all of it.
Before we went to the other place where we had more of it.
Hell of a markup, but it was good. Woo! Very good. So I did notice once that Chinese tank column is kind of rolling heavy, and did you kill the female version of Braxton?
Yeah.
Because he's on the horse.
She.
Yeah, well, she's on the horse, and that's all I thought was like, is it supposed to be Brexit?
No, no, but I wanted, because I
Those
know that
fuckers killed her.
I know that area so well. I used to drive down that road to go to Dissa to go to work
Okay.
for a year. And it was the best, most serene drive, because if you've ever driven through Great Falls,
Yeah.
it's just the most opulent horse country in the middle of a city type place that you
A
could
really
be.
randomly beautiful state.
Randomly
Really,
beautiful.
yeah,
Exactly.
right.
That's a perfect way to describe it. And I saw all kinds of weird shit out there. There's Saudi princes that live out there, and there's a little pink house on the side of the road, and that didn't sell out. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's so much weird stuff there that's all beautiful, and it's just so surreal in this setting, right? That, hey, hi, how you? Oh
Oh,
shit,
dead.
missed.
Oops.
Who the fuck fired? You know,
They had a gun.
had a gun. Was it pointing at? I don't know. Sorry. Bygones.
Yeah,
Jesus
well, now they're
Christ.
dead. Yeah, it's true.
Now they're
But
dead.
also, the hilarity of that person in that situation is riding a horse, waving at a tank column of Chinese tanks.
Right? Because they don't know.
Yeah,
What American's going to know?
no idea.
No, right?
None.
Almost none.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true, because that is kind of like you do allude, and there's some shitty bombing runs going on out in Wyoming, and there's some stuff. But yeah, I think one of the questions probably people are coming away with is how many people in the States are actually still alive, right? Because you had the EMP, and we
Yeah.
know the Chinese are doing some fucked up shit out west.
Right.
But there's no real talk of, outside of some of the Chinese that obviously are in Fort Knox, and they're trying to go take Mount Weather and all this shit that's on the East Coast side of things. But
Right.
yeah, there's like the center, there's like, where are the Russians at? Like, what's like, and I assume that's why I said, like, you talk very specifically about in A Dance of Devils what's going on with these characters, but I'm going to assume the third book is going to highlight all that other shit that's going on, because everyone's disconnected now, right? Because we've had counter strikes, Russia's fucked, China's fucked.
fucked.
But there are some Chinese who aren't socialists who are now on Tanner's boat. Is it Tanner?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tanner's
Tanner
boat.
Kinley.
Yeah, and that's where they're figuring out, where do we go?
What do we do? How do we
What
do it? Because
which way are we going? Because if we go that way, we're getting killed. If we go that way, we're getting killed. What are we right? But then what
Right.
are the Russians up to? Because the last thing we really see from the Russians is the Russian presence underground as the strike hits. So yeah, there's some cool shit going down still.
Right. I like to leave, and I like to tell these my little answers here with a little background. I hate reading Stephen King's books. I read one, just one of them, Dreamcatcher.
Like 10 of these is one.
10 of those, and so much unnecessary stuff. But I mean, give him props. He's a prolific freaking writer, and he did the clown thing, and that's why
Hundreds of thousands of pages do you think he's written?
Oh, hundreds of thousands, millions of
Yeah,
pages.
you think the clown thing was cool. I'm glad you left those fuckers out of this version, because
but I wanted to touch it a little bit, pay a little bit of homage, to Tap and whatnot, and his Red Balloon Industries.
Is that your inspiration for that whole thing? Was it him? Was it Tap?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I didn't want clowns again. I'm not going to do the same thing twice. Right. I might touch on it or do it in a different way, but I'm not going to do the same thing twice. But I wanted to see a red balloon somewhere. It had to be there, right? So had to do that. And oh my God, blank. What was it?
Well, you're talking about pages, and you're talking about Stephen King did the fucking clowns. So and we're kind of getting into like, hey, where's this going for the third, right? Because there's a lot of untapped stuff still, specifically with China and Russia.
Thank you. So Stephen King,
and I guess they're wrong because they got nuked too. But
yeah, they did. They're done. They're not coming back.
They only got
That
one
dude,
city in
that
that
dude's
film.
not coming back.
That's it. He did.
He did.
Definitely did. He did.
But Stephen King's book on writing, his like,
I think Clay talked about this one time. He's like, he's kind of learned how to write from him in that book.
yeah. Well, when I was writing Mongol Moon, I read Stephen King's book that's titled, quote unquote, On Writing, his story about his journey and then how he writes and some of his anecdotes. And the way he described it was, this is how Stephen King writes a story. He knows he walks onto a piece of ground and he knows there's a story there, but he doesn't know what it is yet. So he takes large earth moving machines and jackhammers and starts moving large chunks to uncover what the outline is. And then once he sees the outline, he uses smaller tools, archaeology, and he starts digging away. Is it a dinosaur? Is it a clown? Is it this? Is it that? And the more he writes, the more the writing part is those excavating tools, right? Okay. He doesn't know what it's going to be at the beginning. I didn't know what Mongol Moon was going to be at the beginning. What he's describing is what's called a pantser.
Pantser.
A pantser, writing from the seat of your pants.
Oh, okay.
You're just sitting down and you're writing.
Oh, that was the vehicle you mentioned that knocks out Boris's plane.
No, the pantser is different. But that was also
great fucking part, though.
That was also a lot of fucking research, and I had to make sure that shit hit right on.
That was fucking funny.
So anyway, the only got to give Stephen King props for being such a prolific author.
Yeah.
Don't like him as a person really, but
he can write.
But he is a pantser. I'm a pantser. I write from the seat of my pants. There are the opposite side that are plotters that outline everything, right to the outline, plot everything out, don't deviate.
That's kind of how they teach it, right? In English, like us going to school, that's kind of
right. And that's why a lot of writers that are very successful hated English.
I believe it. They don't
because they're like, I don't know what you're doing. I just sit down and write, and you're wanting me to do all this stuff. That's why I didn't write for so long. Because they made me outline stuff, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in the next chapter or all this stuff. I'm not going to outline a whole thing. I can do it for work. I can't do it for a story that I'm pulling out of my butt.
That reminds me of the line in Good Will Hunting where she's like his girlfriend. She's trying to figure out like, how can you do all of my homework instantaneously and all this stuff? And he's like, do you play piano? And she's like, no, it's chopsticks. He's like, okay, well, Beethoven, Mozart, they could look at a piano and just play, right?
Right.
And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, well, I probably can't hit a ball out of Fenway Park. I can't do any of these things athletically or whatever. But when it comes to this stuff that you're talking about, I could just play, right? And it's the same thing with writing. Like most authors they can just write. That's why not everyone's doesn't have a book or two or however many you have at this point. But yeah, because some people just can't write. Or they're not good at it. Or they don't ever sit down and figure it out because they're just not called to do it.
Right. Or they have other skills.
Or they don't want to do a fucking structured version of someone else's teaching, right?
Right.
Because that's all that's designed is for everyone who actually can't write to be able to do it and guide them to it so they can turn paper and get their grade and move on in school. Right.
That's for the people that have this structured view of being an author, being a published author, right? You have to do this step, and then you have to query your story to hundreds of editor or agents. You have to get the agent, and then the agent will sell your story after the agent's given you feedback and you've rewritten it 3 times, right? And the agent has sold your story, and now it's like a 2-year lead time before your story actually gets
that's fucking nuts
out there, right? And then you get from the publisher 12% of every sale, and you have to give your agent 12% of that, right? So I don't know. Wargate sounded too good to be true, but they're not. Fucking amazing people.
Yeah.
Amazing. Good people. What are you laughing at? What are you looking at?
No, I was ordering some lighting. I literally went on Amazon and ordered lighting. Cause I'm up in, like I told you, I'm up in this fucking office.
While I'm talking? You're not listening
Well,
to me?
it's called multitasking. Have you heard of it?
No, I don't multitask.
It's when you do more than one thing at once.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, clearly.
But
Yeah, no,
for instance, I'm going to have a drink of this and not talk to you.
Yeah, I'm up in my office, right, which is day one up in here. I don't have ceiling lighting. So I dragged this light up from the living room, which I'm going to have to take back down. I need to get more lighting in here. And then
By the way, that light is burning up a hole in my screen.
It probably is.
No, everybody that's watching this is going to be like, dude, I can't even.
Yeah. So
are those dangles? Are those two danglers?
No, there's three. There's three danglers.
Oh, alien balls.
I need to just whatever. But I need to get that ring that goes right behind this camera. I can put it right here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and then I can get two more lights up here. But yeah, I got work to do. This is a trial run. And it's working.
It is.
Right? You're
this is
very
great.
well lit. I'm in a black junkyard tactical. What up, Larry? Shirt.
Larry's my homeboy.
Larry's great. He was supposed to be writing a book about his story. I don't know what happened.
He did. He did. I've talked to him about it.
Yeah, he was supposed to get. Well, okay, I'd like to fucking read it. I mean,
it's amazing.
No, it's a great story. Like the podcast he did with man, it might be almost 3 years ago when he talked about it. But yeah, the story's fucking awesome. Great story.
I got to reach back out to him because he and I talked like months ago, and I read the story. I have it.
Is it published yet?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I read it. I think there's some editing going on. Okay. Perhaps, mayhaps.
Oh, great.
But
great
but dude, some of that stuff is just wow.
Yeah, I imagine he finally got
it makes it look, all the hair on my arm is standing up just thinking about it. It's just man. God damn.
All right, let me get back to my list. All right, I have a list.
Larry's the kind of guy that I like to write about. It's like
you should put him in the sequel for the third sequel because he makes shit out of like perfect time. Like we're in the apocalypse. He's just making.
We're in the apocalypse. Weaponry. Somebody needs I got to have a guy with a forge that has a hate and hates fire and needs to work with fire to get rid of his hate of fire and fear of fire and making some kukris and some Siths.
You should probably have some guy in a mountain somewhere doing podcasts and drinking bourbon. I'm just saying. But anyway.
I have a feeling that there's some characters that I haven't developed yet for my third book that might be developed.
I imagine there would, but no, this is kind of what, and I know I kind of, we jumped all over, but this was where I said on my notes here, the airborne scene, I wrote, this is when shit gets real. This is when kind of the story begins to really take off. And it's like, all right, we're not building up anything anymore. Now it's about to get it gets pretty brutal pretty quickly. And there's some shit going on. And because like once everyone's out the door, they're landing. They, First Sergeant Sullivan watches the third target get crushed by the plane because they realize they don't have and we've already talked about that.
Right.
That's my note is what's the play. Yeah, let me get to Mama.
Mama.
She's just cooking all the time.
That's what Mama does. Mama cooks, man.
She's just
everybody
cooking.
knows a Mama. Everybody knows a Mama.
She's just cooking. And I know you do mention it. It's like, look, this is the stuff, we've got tons of like MRE type of food and survival food and all, but right now we're cooking up everything we have. And I'm just like, Mama's just cooking throughout the whole book.
She is. She is.
There actually are tacos in the apocalypse, right? We found that.
But they don't get them.
They really don't.
They don't get them, right? They have to go. They got to go.
There's breakfast tacos that they're not there for. Then
there's breakfast tacos that they smell, but then they have to go. Oh my God.
Yeah. Also, can I just talk about like, and I respect what you're doing because you're writing a fucking real book and these things could have, but man, when you fucking killed Nina, that fucked me up, man. Like that's a young girl. Like I have a daughter who's 18. Like you have daughters. Like, man, Nina's dead. And so is Boris now, which is great because they blew him out of the sky.
Fuck Boris.
Yeah, fuck you, Boris.
Fuck you, Boris.
And your heroin.
Hey, what's your name, Boris? Fuck you, Boris.
Fucking the wolf my ass. Wolf food.
Jesus fucking Christ. I was happy to get rid of him. I had you know, I've talked to some people and they're like, you know, you got some plot armor going on here.
Some what?
Plot armor, meaning armor.
Okay.
Meaning you have all your characters and none of them are dying. Right? Like Game of Thrones, no plot armor. Everybody's naked. Everybody dies.
And they
right?
kill everybody at the last.
Kill every fucking body. As soon as you like somebody, you know they're gonna die. Right? Jesus. Right. So I'm working on that. This is my journey as an author, as a writer, as a storyteller, to try and get past that hurdle. Right. But I don't want to go too far past. I don't want to go, okay, maybe everybody dies in the third and it's a 1-page book that says, hey, meteor, sweet meteor of death, Smod has hit.
I mean, you can only imagine, since there is obviously going to be a third book, that there's going to be more death. Excuse me, right? But where and when does it happen? Because it seems like we've wrapped up a lot that's going on stateside.
Have you?
Now the next step is to get.
Have we wrapped it all?
No, we haven't. Of course not, because there's still a tank that's outside of Mount Weather, right? But sounds like we're about to get a little more international with the killing.
We are.
Yeah,
we are, and that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't want to lose sight. I had conversations with people about, do I just go with
I don't know. You've frozen.
V Shark and Tavis, do I do the neighborhood and other things? And I was like, eventually I was like, I got to do all of it. I got to do all of it, because what I did with Nina was, it was specific for a reason, because I need Pasha to do other things.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
I need Pasha to do other things, and I need some oomph behind some things, and I needed him to be a certain way.
Oh yeah, now he's just like,
oh,
I've got nothing, so let's fucking who do I need to kill? Sort of.
That's kind of the mindset, but not really. It's more of, I can't protect anybody. I failed.
You did kind of allude to that in when he's just right. Like, I've got nothing, we've got nothing.
So I need Pasha to find something new.
His purpose, yeah.
And then he finds too much.
Okay.
And it's
because then
he's like, holy shit, now I gotta jump and step.
Yeah.
God damn.
Well, my other question is, like, how many Chinese are actually in Conus right now? Where is, like, because they're at Knox, some came, the tanks came, but there's, and then there's also the West Coast, right? We talked about what was going on in Wyoming.
There's millions.
So there's some crazy shit you got to tie up still.
There's some crazy
Anyone
shit.
Gonna die? Are they going to die in Appalachistan? That's what I want to know. I want some Conus kills for the Appalachian folks. That's what.
You know what? This is what I love about.
This is what we've been dreaming about.
Right?
We don't need the military.
Banjos. Take me home. Country roads.
Western Virginia.
Smalls. Come on, Smalls. No, they're everywhere. And so are Russians. And so are some Iranians. And we've been infiltrated, and we can see it today in real time, right?
Yeah.
Like every day coming across the border, northern border too, from Canada, because I mean, that's Juan Cast. Hey, Kat, what's going on over there? What are you doing?
It's Mark, the author.
Yeah. Have you read my book? Does she have an Amazon account?
It's a he. All right.
Whatever. Looks like a she.
Whoa.
I'm just saying, where are the balls? You got balls over
cut off. He's a tuxedo. He's a distinguished gentleman. Look at him. Look how handsome he is.
Oh.
Nice.
So women can't wear tuxedos?
No, they shouldn't. Should wear cocktail dresses. That's what they should wear.
Well, of course. I was just asking. They can't?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they can, obviously. Anyway. Yeah. So this is where I wanted to go with the anthology, right? So
when you say anthology, how many books are you talking?
At this point, we've split it in two. So we got such a reaction from people that I didn't even think wanted to write a story. We're like, hell yeah, let's go.
So you're doing spin-offs now, like The Walking Dead?
No, not necessarily spin-offs. Anthologies are like short stories, like
within the main story.
5, 6, 7 chapters.
Okay.
Even less, right?
Right.
Like Mongol Moon and Dance of Devils are 103,000 words thereabout. These short stories are like from 5 to 10,000 words, right? So we got all these cool people like Joel Gaines, Blaine Pardo, Clay Martin even said yes once I said no, you don't have to write it until like the summer, because he's busy with building his lodges and shit.
He's about to come do some training for me. Yeah, we'll talk.
Really?
Talk.
Yeah,
we'll talk offline.
Okay. Awesome. So there's all these authors that jumped in, even people that aren't authors jumped in to write within this 3-week time frame of from the lights go out on Christmas Eve to where it ends on Dance Devils, right? They signed up to write stories that expand my world with their own stories.
It's pretty cool, huh?
That I couldn't do.
Yeah.
Because my characters only go so many places. And it's like doing gymnastics, like author gymnastics, to try and force like reports from Northern Russia or North Korea or whatever, right?
Yeah, because there's so much. It's a big fucking planet out there, and there's a lot going on.
But dude, man, I've got like Steve Stratton, former Green Beret. I've read his story. I've read Joel Gaines' story about North Korea, echoes behind the DMZ, and what happens. And we're tying stuff together. Everybody's tying stuff together because I'm kind of talking with people. And Blaine Pardo just killed it. I mean, he killed it's VFW guys on Christmas Eve in Louisiana next to the Mississippi River. Oh my God. It's lit. Right?
Yeah.
It's just awesome. It's awesome because I want to set all these awesome authors loose. Most are better than me. Like, I can't wait to read Brett Allen's short story, who wrote Kilroy Was Here, right? About, the E4 Mafia behind the wire on base in Afghanistan. Dude, everybody needs to experience the eyes. He wrote that, and I read that scene like 4 or 5 times, and I at first was horrified, and then I just cackled, right? Because if you don't, maybe you do know, but they contracted this Afghani pilot who was flying for the Russians back in the Russian invasion, right? But now he's an alcoholic, drinking vodka, of course, but now he's flying and picking up pallets for the Americans with his Russian helicopter, right? So they sent the new lieutenant, out to hook up the thing for Ivan, right? So dude that's hooking it up thinks that there's like multi people in the helicopter. There's one guy, and he's shit-faced on vodka, but he's a fucking outstanding pilot, right? Because he's been doing it for like 20, 30 years, right? But as he's hooking it up, he's like looking up through the hole, and he sees the eyes. And he's like, you got to bring it lower. And the eyes like go. And then disappear. And then the helicopter a minute later comes a little bit lower. And then the eyes come back. Dude is putting it on autopilot and coming back, and just, oh my God. It took me a minute. The second time around, I got it. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? There's only one dude in the helicopter. It's a helicopter. Jesus fucking Christ. Brett Allen, the way he writes is literary. Okay. Without a doubt, even with Kilroy Was Here, he was literary about it. I don't write literary. I write screenplay, right?
Yeah.
And he has another book out called fuck it, god damn it, it's gonna kill me. I'll look it up. But it's like cozy fireside snifter of whiskey literature. Yeah. I mean, it's just cozy. It's great. Whether it's in Afghanistan or whether it's a monster hunter book, which is his Sly Fox Hollow is what it's called.
Yeah.
Sly Fox Hollow. Oh my God, he's great. And I can't wait to see what he does. And then there's Jim Kiernan, who wrote Combat Orders, which is a bunch of short stories. I've already talked to him. He's up in upstate New York. He's doing nuclear stuff up there in the short story. But I mean, everybody's doing their own little thing. And that's what I wanted, because they're expanding what happens. And so in the third book, after these short stories come out, I could come back around and use their short stories to kind of fill in gaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was a long way of saying shit's cool, man.
Have you read Company Commander? That book?
Company what?
Company Commander.
No.
So it's from World War II. It's by Charles MacDonald. It's from a perspective of a company commander in an infantry battalion or infantry company in World War II. And it's pretty much required reading. It's on like every general's fucking reading list for their lieutenants and their commanders and their company commanders or fucking captains and all. It's but I have a copy of it. It's a fucking awesome book if you want to borrow it, but it'll blow your fucking socks off. Wait. Yep, that's it. Charles MacDonald. That's the one.
Nice.
The one I got. Yep.
Perfect.
Fucking incredible book. Highly recommend. But yeah.
Hey, I have more high level ratings than he does.
He won a world war. What'd you do, buddy? You started one. Okay.
I started World War III. I gave him the plans.
How do you feel about yourself? You literally started.
I feel great because I planned for this shit. I got a whole goddamn, like, my wife gave me a cabinet to put my shit in. Yeah, she gave me a cabinet.
That's nice.
Everything else is.
Thanks, Shannon. Appreciate it. Great things.
Bunker. And you met her.
So you bring it.
You might not remember, but you did meet her.
No, I did. I remember Shannon. Yeah, I met her. Yeah, of course. Alex. I think he's just.
Oh my God, Alex.
So because I'm rewatching The Americans, and this is what it reminds me of, right?
Yeah.
Is it inspired by that at all, or is this
never watched The Americans?
Really?
Had no interest.
You should. It's fucking.
Everybody tells me that, and I just can't.
Oh, dude, I watched it the first time in 2018. I'm rewatching it now. I just started season 4 or 6 seasons. It's one of the greatest fucking shows we've ever had.
Really? Damn, I might have to do it.
And well, because Alex, her parents,
I never saw it. I never watched the show.
But that's pretty incredible. But you should, because it's fucking great. It's a great series, great acting. Like Kerry Russell's phenomenal. Fucking Reese, I can't remember his other name, what his full name. The whole show is fucking incredible acting. But it's a great story as well, because it's literally like what you described, like the Soviets sending their agents to come start families in the United States and infiltrate, live regular lives, and their kids are born here, so they have no fucking clue. But then it ties into that once one of their daughters gets 14 years old and she sees what's going on, and they have to tell her, and it's just violates it's a great fucking story, right? It's a great show. You would love this show. Really would. Great show. Watch it. It's on FX. You can find it on Hulu. Great show.
I'm gonna have to watch it in the mornings early.
You do, bro.
Instead of writing.
You up with so much. I got you on The Americans, Pentagon Wars, fucking what was the other one?
Deterrence. Kevin Pollock.
Yeah, you're not gonna be writing for a while, bub. You've got some shit to do.
No, I got some.
Finally, watch all this stuff. Your 5th book is gonna be incredible.
Dude, my 5th book, my 5th book is going to be something entirely different.
Well, that's good because I mean you can't keep
and
the world of every time, right?
oh no, I can't.
Oh wait, are you gonna go with Elon to Mars?
Oh no, fuck him. No, no, don't. I don't stop it. So
Guess we're
I've
not going
had
to Mars with Elon.
two concepts in my head, right? This concept came out of Mongol Moon, came out of aggravation and hating the dystopian post-apocalyptic stuff that was coming out and blah blah blah. And I was just like, I can do this better, but maybe not. So
You get a great story.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I wrote the one I wanted to write the way I wanted to write it. And it may be awesome and people may hate it. And I've read some hey, look, here I've read some reviews that say, hey, look, here are all these unbelievable things, but I read it, not mad. And that's cool. And that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm totally cool with that.
That's stupid though.
But
those are the like whatever.
But I have this concept that I want to do, and it's probably going to be, I don't want to get into a monarch or a Godzilla type blah 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 thing, but I have a concept with something I call remnants. Remnants, like carpet remnant.
Yeah.
Remnants.
Okay.
But remnants of evil, right? And that's pretty much what I'm going to say. But they have to be contained after the fact. And it's World War II. And it's set around a oddball squad of people that are not all soldiers, not all American. And they have to come up with a way to they're not the remnants.
Oh.
What they're trying to contain are the remnants. But they might be remnants too, right? So if you think of the most evil people in the 20th century, right, and the most evil they've done, that evil leaves a stain, a remnant of itself, a miasma on the world, and it manifests itself into something that can't easily be killed. Can be captured, but you got to be careful with it. But they look sort of like the evil people in a grotesque kind of way.
So it always kind of is though, right? Like,
yeah,
look at every war, every battle, whatever. It's just it's always those two sides, like, because we neglect this, right? And I think the greatest example of what you're talking about is like, let's talk about World War II, right? Let's just talk about it from the American side first.
Okay.
When you think of World War II, or not even you, because you're probably too well read, you probably know too much, but what does the average person think World War II, and where did it take place for the Americans?
Oh, it was D-Day.
Europe, right?
It was D-Day. It was Europe.
We forget the entire Marine Corps over in fucking the Pacific.
And we forget the Soviets.
Well, and that's what that was my next point.
The Soviets fucking won World War II.
Exactly. That's
right?
like, and they were our ally.
Right.
And then,
nobody talks about them.
No, and then we divulged into this, like, and this is my big, and this kind of leads into, because this is stuff that I wanted to kind of get your take on outside of the book, right? But it's just like, man, yeah, like if you asked, and this was me probably up until literally I joined. I had no idea. Like, I wasn't taught this in school. Like, World War II to me taught in school was like us against Hitler. Right? Where was Hitler? Germany. Germany bad. The axis of evil. Fucking Iran, or not the new one that Bush did. Germany, Italy, and what was whatever. There's the axis of evil, right? Yeah, Japan. But everyone's just like, oh, Japan, they dropped, they attacked Pearl Harbor and we dropped bombs on them. But they don't actually talk about,
there's a whole like
all these Marines over there.
5 years in between that shit.
Yeah. They don't really teach that. They teach Pearl Harbor, Nagasaki, and Hiroshima. That's what's taught.
They don't teach the rape of Nanking or anything else.
None of it, right? And then, so I would say the average American is probably, and I'm going to go test this theory once I get done doing this. because I got to talk to my daughter. I'm going to be like, hey, when you think, what did you learn about World War II? And I just want to see if they actually include anything from the Pacific. Because Yeah, we literally fought a two-front war, and that's what we kept
Yeah.
up forever. But no, you're right. Let's go back to Russia. Dude, Russia lost 20 million fucking men.
Just to the Germans, not let alone to themselves.
Yes.
They killed their own people.
Right. Like Russia, and they were our fucking ally, right?
Right.
Then, as you said, Russia won World War II. Like that's their culture. Those are their churches. Like they've got churches in Russia that are built upon the fucking leftover equipment from the fucking Germans that they took, and that's their floor of the church. Like Russia did so much during World War II, sacrificed so much, lost so much, and then we saw how kind of the progression after that, and we went into this, the evil empire, the Cold War, all this stuff, and then we had the fall of the Soviet Union in, what was it, 89, right? And then, or was it 91? 89 or 91?
89.
89, yeah. And we had the birth of all these new former Soviet Union countries who are now independent, right? Like the West Germany becomes unified, Hungary, Poland, all these places, Ukraine, right? And that kind of brings us to us now. So we get a lot of pushback on
Dude, real
Carlson
quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. Are we live?
Well, I'm not broadcasting it live. I'm just recording it live.
Okay, good. Because I gotta fucking pee.
Yeah, go do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it too.
Oh God,
we'll take a quick.
Jesus
Let's
Christ!
go.
I almost
Hey,
pissed myself.
yeah, do it. Go. La crema. Too much Pinot, bro. Yeah, all right. So I'm back. We're waiting on Mark. We're gonna get into where I left off, which is kind of the post World War II shift into the Cold War with Russia, and then the fall of the Soviet Union. And what I'm going to talk to Mark about is how we maintain to this day, despite the end of the Cold War, despite all of those things, why we maintain this us versus them relationship with Russia. When I don't think personally that it is beneficial to not only us and Russia, but it's not beneficial to the planet. It just isn't. Also, by the way, I don't know where Mark's going. He's on a compound, right? Oh, wait, never mind. He's back. I was about to say he's on a compound, but he's back. So once he puts his headphones in, I get this swig off, this snifter that Mark mentioned earlier.
Snifter, yes.
All right, he's back. So yeah, so where we're at, right? We're
You were talking about Hungary and all kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
no, now we're post-Soviet Union collapse, right? And then we get into Ukraine. And Tucker Carlson got this huge pushback. Did you watch the Carlson interview with President Putin or no?
I watched pieces of it, and then I watched the aftermath of it and the bits and bytes that came out.
Okay, so the point I bring up with that is, and I always try and juxtapose this with, hey, let's just say in the future at some point that the United States can no longer preserve the Union and states break off, become independent states, right?
Like my beloved Kamala.
But I would argue that from historical purposes, all those things, like I think the U.S. equivalent, if we're going to make the argument of a state splitting off and becoming an independent nation and wanting to preserve its or become and just be this independent thing now, the only thing I could really relate Ukraine to Russia with would probably be 3 states: New York, Texas, or California. As Mark drops the middle finger. Very mature.
2 of them I don't care. The other one's fake. I don't care about Texas, even though half my family was born there and I have streets named after.
No, but say California splits off, right?
Right. Yeah.
But think about how important economically from
That's huge.
all the things that California does and does for the United States. And they're separate and they want their independence. And then the United States is like, no, fuck that. We're going to come reclaim this. And that's what they're going to try and do. And that starts a war. Well, that's Russia and Ukraine's relationship.
It kind of is. It kind of is.
Okay.
It kind of is because there's, I mean, let's be real clear. The United States interfered in 2014 in that election.
Okay.
Bunch of these yahoos. I mean, Russians, I know some Russians. As a civilian, I know some Russians. And they're very, very upfront with you about shit. They are. And if you just listen to what Vladimir Putin says, he's like, don't do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. So what do? Fuck it. Let's do X, Y, and Z. Why? Because these are the same people that wanted to go into Iraq. There is literally one time in my life, and my wife can corroborate this, that I've stood up in my family room and screamed at the TV and walked out. And that's when Bush gave his this is why we're going to war in Iraq. It's because they have, and he said this specific thing. I can't remember the exact words, but he said, Iraq has the ability to reach Europe and eventually the United States. And I stood up and I wanted to throw something at my TV. And I was like, you and I know that's bullshit. This is all bullshit. I'm out. And I went upstairs. And my wife was like, where are you going? I'm like, I can't. I'm done. It's all bullshit.
And then
they have zero ability to reach Europe or us.
Yeah, and 21-year-old me was like, man, I can't wait. Let's
fight. Right?
I'm gonna do the best thing ever. And then now I look back on and like it's kind of embarrassing.
I mean, yeah, did Saddam Hussein have weapons of mass destruction? Probably. He gassed a bunch of people. Very broad. He had chemical weapons and he fucking gassed people, right? Yeah, no, that and fucking people gas people all the time. They do it in Syria. They do it in all over the place, right? They use this shit. It's there. Humans are going to human, right? But damn, I mean, I don't think California and Ukraine are equal. I think that's an entirely different mindset. Even the people are an entirely different mindset. I think Texas is a lot different. I mean, they're pretty retarded. So I'm just trying to help the conversation along. They're not refined like we are in my beloved Commonwealth. But I mean, they have the Alamo, Ozzy Osbourne peed on it. I almost did. But I have kindred spirits with my Texas people because I have street names with my family named after them in San Antonio. My great-grandfather was the city architect engineer of San Antonio. Oh, really? So his last name, Harrigan, is on a bunch of plaques all over the city.
Oh, that's pretty fucking cool.
You can actually go and see that shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So I like Texas.
Yeah.
Is it my home? No. Would I fight for it? Probably. Probably if the right circumstances, if it was the right circumstance, right? I'm not leaving my hill. Let's make this absolutely clear.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
People need to find a hill, right? Yeah. One they'll die on. I've only had ever one, and that's where my family is.
So what I was getting at, and this is what I kind of want to.
Yeah, I went way off track.
No, you didn't. You're not going off track, but it's just like I want to bring it back to what I was originally saying, right? So we're in this point where we're doing kind of what you said, like, hey, don't do X, Y, Z. Well, we're gonna do X, Y, Z, and we're applying this external pressure. We're supporting the Ukraine financially and from a weapon standpoint. Why have we continued to maintain this relationship with Russia? And this is, I don't pretend to know or just I'm not going to take Vladimir Putin's like word.
Yeah.
Like I'm like he says in that interview that he met with Clinton and someone in Clinton's administration about doing a joint venture with the United States for a missile shield, like a massive joint, right? And then it was ultimately, according to him, he said, we came to him 2 times and said, no, it's not going to happen. I guess my question to you is, why have we maintained this adversarial relationship post collapse of the Soviet Union, the fall of communism? Why have we not tried to reach out? And I talked a little bit about this with Grandpa. Why haven't we reached out and tried to bring Russia into our fold? Because they're doing BRICS. Like BRICS is real. Like that's happening.
Yeah.
Right. So how is it in our best interest to not reestablish a relationship with our greatest World War II ally? Now at 2024, like we're maintaining this, again, as I said, an adversarial relationship for literally almost 35 years at this point. How is that benefiting anybody?
Yeah, it's not. And I saw some of the interview you did with Grandpa. It was good. Thank
you.
Love him.
He's great. Yeah,
he attracts all the right people on Twitter.
It really does.
Tell you that.
He's got a gift.
He's got a gift. And I don't know what it is because I can't write that stuff. I mean, he just writes a simple question and there's 4,000 people that just pounce on him.
Yeah, it's been so cool for like 15 years watching our little people just kind of go from like 400 followers to 25 and 50,000. It just cracks me.
Right? It's amazing. And I love it so much. We would have been, it would never happen because they didn't know what to do. They had no idea what to do when the wall fell. None. They were as surprised as the Russians were. Right? I think that what would have been the best thing for everybody was when the Soviet Union fell apart, that NATO, led by the US, put a plan in place to disassemble NATO. Done. Yeah. Cool. We're done. But guess what?
Very specific purpose, right? Like
it's a very specific
Atlantic Treaty
one
Organization.
Purpose. You have one job, and that job is now gone, dude.
Yeah.
Right. So this became a, hey, I got to keep my job. Hey, I got to keep my revenue. I got to keep my industry flowing because of defense contracting and this and that and the other thing. I got all these joint fighters and joint systems and joint intelligence and common operating pictures that we've developed to defeat the Soviets. We've now done that. Who's next? We can surely find another target, right? We've done this to ourselves. This is self-inflicted. This entire thing is self-inflicted. And if we had somebody that was not anybody that's currently running or thinking about running, right? On any side, if we had like a Drew Mullins for president, sign me up.
Be cool.
Right?
He's not quite too old yet.
He's not quite too old. He could probably still he can probably still, when he hears that Last of the Mohicans song, run up a mountain. I can't do it. I'm too fat. I
I've
thought
met
for
him.
sure you were gonna, as soon as I
tell
got
you
on
what,
here,
I've
you were
met him.
gonna
For
ask me if I was
someone,
doing squats.
his age, he's pretty intimidating. I'll give you that. He's a big man. He's a big boy.
He only looks like he's like 50, 55.
He's but he's no, I would love someone like that.
Dude, I'm 50, 55. And dude is like,
Well, he's older.
yeah.
He's yeah, but so like how do like, because what, I don't know what comes after Putin, right? I know he just got reelected again, 86%, great, good for him. But at some point there's going to be a post Putin Russia, like that's inevitable, right? It just is, like that's,
is there?
well, he's gonna die at some point, he can't live forever.
Or there's going to be other things that happen.
Like what?
Like there's not going to be a Russia, or all the lights go out, or Putinhead in the White House pushes a button, or, you know, he loses the election at the end of, at the beginning of November, and everybody goes, oh, we can't lose power and leave it to Trump because he's Hitler.
So you're in
there are so many freaking dynamics here, dude. So many variables.
Well, what do you think then? What do you think happens in November? Because we're at where no one thought we'd be a year ago.
Oh, I think a bunch of things are going to happen before November. I think I mean, and I won't say this for myself, but if you look around our corner of Twitter and broadly, right? And there's the Drew Mullins, which I respect, and Nameless G, who got suspended today. Elon, release him. Release Nameless G, man.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh my God. Yeah. Total boss dude. So we need, what was the question? God damn it.
What do you think's going to happen? You said there's going to be a bunch of things leading up to November. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So,
hey, pour another glass while you're at it.
No, I've got at least one more in the bottle.
That's good.
It's rock and roll. Let's rock and roll. Let's push through. Push through.
That's right.
Put some dirt on it.
You push it.
Fucking
What's
beat
on the
Braxton.
playlist? What song's next on the playlist? Let's
right. Yeah, you know it. It's cherry pie. So what?
That's so fast. Yeah.
I played that. I played
warrants for you.
That song with my daughter, and she's like, "Are you on drugs?" I'm like,
not anymore.
I want to be.
Yeah, I used to be.
I used to be a lot. So this is, you can listen to a lot of people rolling through this year. There's a lot of predictions. One of the best places I think you can find is solid. Everybody's got a prediction, but one of the best places I think that you can find reliable, consistent information is the Council on Future Conflict podcast. Every day, every other day, I'm on there sometimes. There's Joe Dolio, Scott.
Yeah,
freaking a bunch of people on there. The Virginian gentleman, my beloved Commonwealth. He's up, even though he moved to Montana, traitor.
Oh, he's got to change his name then.
Whatever. So
Montana gentleman, he's got to change his name. He can't.
I know, right? Just Montana. Yeah. I mean, who does that? Who names himself after my beloved Commonwealth and then moves to Montana? I wouldn't move to Montana. This is my hill, baby. Come on. So there's going to be a lot of dynamics at play this year, and I'll get down into it now. Antifa, BLM, whoever you want on the left, and then there's going to be all those guys on the far right wing that are funded, outfitted, and dressed, and the people provided by the FBI, which are the Patriot Front, will be out in opposition of them. Are you paying attention to me?
I am.
You look like you're doing something else. Am I boring you?
No, I'm listening to you. You just said the Patriot Front. They're doing.
Okay.
Bro, remember I said multitask? Do you understand
I
how
don't
roll?
multitask.
Well,
I
I do. All right. I have that
I
talent.
don't. I can't do it.
This is what
Which is why I write so slow.
Yeah, you write books. I multitask.
All right. Okay,
Carry
fine. Fine. Shit's gonna go sideways, right? I keep telling people that are talking in linear risk paradigms, right?
Mhm.
X happens, this happens. Okay. Well, that's great if you're talking about a mutual fund or something, maybe. But you have to remember, we live, and I bring it all back to the base foundation. We all live on a rock hurtling through space next to a big ball of fucking fusion, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all gonna die.
We're going to die.
Maybe not today, but we're all gonna die, and it's totally uncertain. Shit could be coming in all over the place. There's risk everywhere, right? So you could plan a year or two out, but now look at our debt, right?
Yeah.
We're adding $1 trillion every 100 days. What the fuck, right?
And we talked
banks are gonna
balanced.
fucking fail.
You were balanced 24 years ago.
Do what?
You were balanced 24 years ago. Talked about this with Grandpa. Like we had a balanced budget.
We had it.
Yeah.
With Clinton.
Yeah, with Clinton of all
with fucking Clinton. Holy crap.
Thanks a lot, Bush.
I remember that vividly. I was like, wow.
That's pretty
okay, cool. We're gonna make it. And now here we are. So
yeah, now here we are.
Right. So that's how quickly shit can go awry. But don't underestimate the ability of things to go horrifically sideways, right? You were in the military. You know what I'm talking about. I'm just looking at the globe and Joe Dolio, who is Joe Stradamus to me, saying, look, it's not going to be World War III. It's going to be little civil wars everywhere. Which is pretty much the way we're going, right? Yeah. South Africa's collapsing. Freaking Cuba's having problems. Venezuela's collapsing. We have millions of people coming across our southwest border. We have bunches of people and problems over our Canadian border because they're fascists and hats and leaves. Fucking Canadians. Fucking syrup. I don't eat syrup.
Oh my God. It's fucking syrup. I don't even like syrup.
Syrup and fucking ice.
I like the fake syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's way better.
Aunt Jemima.
You can't call
it
in
our backyard.
Yeah,
fucking Maine, bitch.
Yeah, it's fucking log cabin or I don't know what the fuck.
Log cabin. Aunt Jemima. Aunt Jemima.
So
but everything's gonna go horrifically wrong because and this is my prediction. You have to look at the big picture and then the local picture. Who cares what goes on in the middle? The big picture is Biden, if you believe everything that they're saying about China and bribes and business and everything else, right? He is the puppet for China, for the American deep state, which is Obama and his team, whatever. Okay. I'm just saying this is one of the possibilities. And they have a finite window. They're not gonna beat Trump unless they cheat massively, and we'll notice it, right? And if we notice it, we're gonna push back and this and that, the other thing, and that's gonna be a whole thing. They know they're gonna lose. So they have a window where they can do something. And by they, I mean China. China has a whole thing about Taiwan. Kingdom of Heaven, mandate from heaven, blah, blah, blah. This is what Xi has based his presidency on and whatnot. So it's not going to be, I don't think, while Biden is president unless they see a weakness, which may be created in the interim because we're coming into riot season. Who knows?
That's true.
Banks could fail. ATMs could shut off. People could be like, oh my God, do you know how many people we have on SNAP EBT in this country?
No, tell me.
56 million people.
56 million.
56 million on welfare in this country.
Is that
And
20%?
And imagine if all of a sudden those servers run by the government were all of a sudden bricked and offline. You think they're really, really, really well protected by the government? I don't know. I can't say. I've seen well protected systems and I've seen less protected systems, and they're probably less protected. So all you have to do, and anybody could push this button or do these things. We've let 10 million people, probably 3-4 army corps of Chinese and other people through that are planning to do bad things anywhere. Why else would you do that? Why else would you let them in? And if you're just stupid and letting everybody in because you think you're going to increase your voter rolls, what makes you think that all of our enemies aren't going to flood the zone with their own shit?
Mm-hmm.
They're here. They are here. And it's this year. And if it doesn't happen, if something catastrophic doesn't happen before the election, it's going to be after Trump wins the election and we have brain dead Joe as the president, but not for the next term.
Right.
Lame duck. He's got what, 2 months to do what?
To
protect us. That's when it's going to happen. November election to the swearing in.
Did you write this book yet?
In my head. My head. I mean, this is, I don't know. I honestly don't know, and I hate this. I honestly don't know if this happens or not, because I'm not Nostradamus. I don't predict shit. And even he didn't predict shit. But I don't know. It just seems like an Occam's razor type thing.
Yeah, well, I would say, because I mean, I know I was originally asking kind of like post Putin, right? That's gonna
I know I didn't answer your question. I'm sorry.
No, it's not that you didn't answer, but I just kind of like I get what you're alluding to. And I want to go back 4 years to 2020 when things I think were significantly worse.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right. So things were really bad 2020 because we had a shutdown. We had all the riots really going on. And you brought up riot season's about to start again.
People don't riot when they're cold.
No, well, it's just like in
Why would they?
You have the fighting season, right? The fighting season starts when the spring thaw because you can't fight when everything's fucking frozen and snowed over. You want to chill and relax. Get it? Chill. But
all my shit happens in my books in the winter, motherfucker.
That's true. You just stop. Like, there's nothing like that's one thing I hate about your book is that it's like, what the fucking is the winter in Kentucky? Like, no, fuck that. Awful, awful, awful. Don't want it. And I think you froze again. So hopefully you come back soon.
Ice bite in your face.
All right, there you are. You're back.
I'm not frozen.
No, you froze. That's the third time you've frozen tonight. But don't worry, I keep talking. But I think 2020 was worse. But I want to go back to something that you said, unless there's obvious cheating, because look, I'm not here to talk conspiracies and all this shit. I just know I went to bed and I woke up to different results, right? And a year ago, I would say when the primary for the Republicans started, there's no way they would let Trump be president again. But here he comes and he just steamrolls the fucking Republican primary, right? And now, a year later, because you can't be beholden to an opinion, right? In the face of new information, if you have to change, you have to change. So I'm going to change my opinion. When I was saying a year ago, I don't think there's any way they let him be president. Now I don't think there's any way they can keep him from it, except for what you said.
Right.
What about the transition?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not even keeping him from being president. It's that Biden's so weak now as president. He's even weaker between losing the election and having Trump sworn in when he is that Carter
Yeah.
Reagan thing, right?
That's why I just wish President Biden had like a strong VP. Like I wish he had that.
Yeah.
Like say what you want about Trump, but I'm not a big fan. Like I would never vote for Pence to be the president, but I thought as a VP, I thought he was good as a VP. Like
He is a good number two.
yeah, right. And
He's a good number
does
two.
anyone does anyone even on the team Biden think that that's what they have in VP Harris? I don't think so.
No.
I
No,
mean,
I mean, did you see Obama walk into 10 Downing Street today?
no, I didn't. I just
Holy shit, dude.
he's
Biden's not walking into 10 Downing Street. Obama is to the Prime Minister of UK.
well,
I don't know.
I think Biden, I think Obama was a way better president than President Biden's been.
Oh, shit.
Like,
As much as I didn't vote for him, I mean, he at least could articulate and not fall down and,
yeah, no, I mean,
do whatever.
on that, man. I just want dudes who are just like,
Capable
that's it.
of whatever.
Just be in your 50s or 60s. That's cool, you know?
Yeah.
And get out. Like, there's no reason for anyone to be in politics for 50 plus years and ultimately end up as a president. Like,
That's exactly right.
like great. That what a success. Like you became senator at 29. Like you didn't do anything else with your life? I don't
Used
know.
it
Like,
to make money.
when did we turn like being like a lifetime of politics as some sort of a career achievement? Like I don't think that's an achievement. I think that's embarrassing. Like you didn't do
Oh,
anything else with your life.
it's
But whatever.
embarrassing not only to them, to their family. I would be embarrassed if I was a Biden, but to our country. But look at it. The Russians, Soviets do it better. They're all corrupt. But what's said in corrupt camp stays in corrupt camp.
Isn't corrupt.
Right?
So and I think maybe you and I talked, well, maybe not to this level, but what is your take on, because maybe it seems worse than it is, but just like do you think, and not just us but others, right? Like it's like, do you think we're going to get to the point where we're going to have a full-on backlash, because we're seeing it from the recruiting side, right? We can't recruit our goals. When do people just stop supporting their governments? Not just here. I'm talking around like, when do they stop that? Because you talked about the power thing, right? The power thing goes away once the power goes away, right?
Yeah.
I don't mean to do like a whole like, but for real, right? It's no longer like this is
Pretty
me,
niche.
this is my family, this is what you said, this is my hill, this is my fucking hill, this is what I'm going to defend.
Yes.
But I mean, we're at like a societal conflict at this point. We're not like, it's not governments anymore. The governments really, if people wanted to do their thing, like the governments aren't powerful enough to control anybody. We're too big on any side, but no one wants to disrupt their comfortable life, which I get and respect. Like that's kind of the trade-off, right? But yeah, you talk about things being bad, and I talk about 2020, I think, being more worse. But if I fast forward to now, I think, man, don't some people want to put their faith in their neighbors, their each other, their cul-de-sac, like you write it out in their book, like you're not putting that book has nothing to do with faith in the governments on either side. Like it's faith in each other.
Either way, there's no politics in my books.
No, there isn't. That's right. That's a good point.
But it's your neighbors. Like, it's your fucking neighbors.
Yeah. Well, and isn't that really what it comes down to? Because
it really is.
If something really, really bad happens, which I don't ever want to experience it. No, I don't want to live through your books, right? I like reading them. I don't want to live through them. But do you think like the first thing I'm doing is waiting for someone from the government to reach out? No. Because it ain't happening. There ain't nobody coming.
Right.
Nobody's coming. They're not big enough. They can't. There's not enough. Like they can't. And that's why I say like
there's not enough, and you don't want to be in a FEMA trailer.
No, there's just not.
Holy shit.
There's just not. And it's a very fragile thing. I do believe it's very fragile on all sides. And I know we talk about, you say like, okay, well, this could happen in Russia or whatever, but I don't know, man. Like I think it comes more back to it. This is probably what I was alluding to when we hung out the last time. It's like it's the religious aspect. There's a very strong religious angle to that.
Absolutely.
People. Religion unifies people more than it tears them apart, and governments do more so than anything in terms of destruction and tearing people apart. Whereas we already talked about this. How much common ground do we already have with Russia in terms of religion, or just in terms of shared experiences in the 20th century?
With
We have that.
Russians. With
That's a bond.
Russians.
Yeah, that's a bond.
Yes.
Like that's
A
real.
lot.
But we're having our governments on each side, and I don't even know if it's coming from one side. I know we have a government telling us, no, bad.
Governments get in a man's way
Yeah,
to
bad.
be friends. Friends, and I'm talking about friends as in the green frog friends. I want to be friends with everybody. I'm serious, dude. You're laughing at me, but I want to be friends with everybody.
And
except
you
for
can,
pedophiles,
and I can, and
fucking...
I thought that was the net positive from social media, was because it can, and I do have friends that I would never in my life have made because of social media.
Right, like you and me.
All over the fucking planet. Yeah, well, but that's localized. I'm talking about, dude, I've got friends
Dude,
from
when I met
Jordan.
You were in California.
I've met friends from, yeah, right. But I've met people from Jordan. I've met people in the Middle East.
True.
Like
yes.
I've done those things. I've been able to do that because of social media. And that's kind of like, that's the net positive of social media, right? There's a negative side to it as well. But like what's really keeping people apart is their governments. That's what's keeping people apart.
God, that's true. That's true. There's nothing. And I asked, over the course of my kids growing up, I kind of, on the down low, every once in a while I would ask,
oh, you froze. Stop freezing.
What has our family...
You keep freezing. I'm gonna need you.
Am I back?
You're back. So you're back, but go back 30
I'm not frozen.
Yeah, no, you're not now, but you're okay.
Okay.
So go back 30 seconds, right? So you said your family.
So I ask my kids every once in a while
on the DL,
on the down low, like, to each one, not as a group, like, if something really bad happened, would you go to your family? Would you go to your government? Would you go to your cops? Would you go to this or that, the other thing? I have to say, they're from little kids to grown-ass adults, because they're all over 18.
Mm-hmm.
All of them have changed back and forth a lot as they learned. And I like to see that. That's what I wanted. I didn't give them the answer. I gave them some guidance, but I didn't give them an answer. So, and I have to say that what I hope for the kids today and kids of yesterday, which is kind of us and in between and whatnot, don't be a burden, right? That's what I told my kids. Don't be a burden. If you learn anything in your life, don't be a burden. I mean, you can ask for help. That's not being a burden. Everybody needs help from time to time, but don't be a burden. And instead of saying, don't go out there and be a slack off and go on the dole and get on welfare, you come from it the other side and say, what's a burden? I can showcase some people in our family or extended family or whatever, and I can give you examples of what a burden is. Not help, not needing help, but saying this person is a leech, right? Mm-hmm. This person is a burden on the family, on the community, on the network, on the country, not the government. Governments are ethereal unless we allow them to be physical. Yeah. I just pulled that shit out of my head.
That was great. You should write that down.
I should write that down. I'm gonna write that down. This is going to be great.
New book.
Title of the third book: Governments Are Ethereal.
God, he's so
done. So deep, no, man. But seriously, this is what I hammer home, and I don't remember the question, but it's got to do with: don't be a goddamn burden. you have to, I mean, you know this, you raised an awesome daughter, dude. And
Appreciate that.
And I've got kids that have changed their minds over and over again. My third kid runs his own business and hates the IRS. Actually, wears a t-shirt all the time to crew practice with the other elites, to his mowing jobs, to his mulching jobs, to his I'm digging up a boulder today with my hands jobs, right? I hate the IRS or tax the IRS or whatever.
Taxation is theft.
Right? Exactly. He hates them. He has to do it. He actually makes so much money as an 18-year-old. He has to file quarterly.
That sucks.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I feel his pain. And now he votes
accordingly.
Right? My other two, they're on the fence. They're figuring it out. It's good. They're older. They've got jobs. They're going to school. They're doing their thing. It's fine. I don't care what I told them. And this is what I wanted out of Mongol Moon and A Dance of Devils, right? If you want politics, go somewhere else. There's none in my books. If you want wokeism, there's none. I have people from every walk of life in my books. Mm-hmm. Every walk of life, because that's how I grew up.
Yep.
There's nothing to see. It's just how I grew up in Reston, next to the projects. I was halfway in the projects and at the coffee shop where everybody comes in and I hear Hindi spoken, Russian spoken, Arab spoken. I met some IDF soldiers last week in there. I mean, it's everybody. Northern Virginia, because of the government in DC, especially Northern Virginia, is a melting pot.
Yeah, for sure.
And without a doubt, unless you go into the bad parts of DC, which is, I mean, across the river into the People's Republic of Maryland, the wrong side of the river, you're not going to go wrong.
No, I just where I was at earlier, I just saw opening soon up in the Woodbridge, Afghanistan market, getting ready to open right next to the ABC store I went to. So I'm excited for that shit. Like, I love
it. Fucking do it. I love it.
Yep.
Let's bring honest to God. There have been little Italies, little Italians.
I love
little Italians. No,
I was just in Baltimore last week for Little Italy. Oh, I love it. So fun.
Right.
My favorite Little Italy is in Baltimore. So good.
Cultures can come here and integrate and keep their culture.
Yeah.
Instead of coming here and creating Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you can't, there's no culture there. It's just their country.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say about that.
Hopefully they're in the triquill. Is that a word? Triquill?
I don't know.
Hopefully Dearborn, Michigan's in the third book because I want to see where you take it.
No, I stay away from politics. Stay away from politics.
It's not though. It's the neighborhood. You just how do they react?
But it's not mine. I write what I know. I write what I know.
Right,
it's not my neighborhood. It's Dolio's neighborhood.
Oh, is he up there?
No, he's in Michigan.
Okay.
He's in Detroit.
Detroit, what? 313.
8 Mile. Dolio's up there in 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Doing his shit.
Remember when Eminem was like, he went off the rails when fucking Trump was president and became like super left-wing fucking rapper. It's like, bro, no one cares, dude. Just go back to being you. And then he did. And people cared again. So it's like, stop interjecting yourself in the shit you don't know.
Right.
Like, see, like, look, there's a lot of shit I don't fucking agree with Taylor Swift on. Like, politically, I never will. Like, I'm just not into it. But, the music, I like some songs. I like some songs. That's all it is. I don't need to care. I don't need to like you on everything because it's never going to work with anybody. You just, it is what it is. All right. I'm going to get to work on that playlist.
All right. Look, Taylor Swift got one thing to say on her.
What?
Look, for all the Taylor haters, don't like her, don't care. I don't like her politics.
Nope.
I don't care about her politics. She pulled herself up from bootstraps, wrote her own music, and today is still writing her own music and writes other music for other artists. She's an accomplished guitarist. I fight for Taylor Swift. I have the patches. I have the patches, and I'm going to send Eric one. I'm going to send Eric a patch.
Send it. Full send.
I'm going to send it. And he's
going
to wear it.
She did settle for Travis Kelce. Like, let's be honest.
Look, I mean, come on. Finally,
Mr. Pfizer commercial.
Whatever. You know, everybody gets paid and gets paid for a commercial. I don't know. Who knows if he got the jab? I don't give a shit. His brother certainly did.
Whatevs. No. All right. Well, that's Mark Sibley. He's got the sequel out now, A Dance of Devils. The sequel, as you can see on the back, is real. It's also here, right here.
That's not the devil sign. That's just me going, fuck yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. No, that's not the devil sign. That's the horns, right? That's fucking, yeah.
Yeah.
A Dance of Devils, Amazon, Wargate Books, being read by Terry Shepard. Coming out when?
April 16th.
April 16th.
Drop it.
That is fast. That is
Pre-order right now.
Yeah,
Pre-order.
that is 1 day post your IRS deadline.
You could use your refund.
You should use your refund.
You should use your refund.
The book, I tried to get a hardcover. I'm a big hardcover fan.
You needed to buy the bundle.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to buy the bundle, Mark. I wanted a hardcover.
But I said the bundle, I tried to give everybody ample time for like a month and a half.
The bundle was a scam by Wargate Books.
It wasn't a scam by me.
It's $100, not by you. It's by Wargate Books. It was $100 scam.
What was in it?
I don't know. I just wanted one hardcover book. I don't want $99 worth of Wargate.
But then after the fact, the hardcovers were on sale by themselves.
I know, but they sold out by the time I went.
Right. You know why? Because people want them.
I know, but that's my thing. Like, here's where I come out on books. I feel all books should be hardcovers. That's just me.
Because it's a feel.
Not a hardcover.
You want one?
Yes.
Do you want a hug?
I want a hug and a hardcover.
You want a hug and a hardcover? Jesus Christ. Okay, fine. You got a bunch sitting upstairs.
Yeah. All right. So go get A Dance of Devils. It is the middle book of the current middle-ish book of a growing anthology. You're going to get all kinds of short stories. You're going to get another book that picks up where Tanner and Tavis are on this kind of, what are they on? What kind of vessel is this?
It's the MV Shark. It's a roll-on, roll-off ship.
There you go. Right. So that's going to happen. So get this book. And then if you haven't read this one yet, and you haven't read the first one, which is Mongol Moon, you should go do that, because otherwise you're just going to be like, what is this dude talking about? But go read Mongol Moon, then read this. Or, like I said, if you're a child and you need bedtime stories, go get the Audible versions.
Or you're a woman that is in need of fertilization, you should get the Terry Shepard version. Have him read it to you.
Yes, either way.
You will be impregnated.
Or a woman who needs child.
Or if you're hard pass. Because I can. Because I fucking can.
The book's out there, folks. Go get it. Mongol Moon.
Hard passes in it.
Audible versions read by Terry Shepard of Hollywood weapons fame. And I don't know, fucking long.
Yeah, dude, you're screwed.
You owe all of your fucking freedom to, as he constantly reminds me that I owe my freedom to Terry.
Exactly.
So thanks, Terry, for my freedom.
I thank Terry for my freedom, I think. Because he did Dude, You're Screwed, all 3 episodes.
Yeah, he's done a lot. But that's it. All right, buddy. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.